Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Flyer Nation, our weekly look inside Lewis University athletics. I'm John Fitzgerald. This week, we'll visit with Lewis University head men's lacrosse coach Joe Perruzzi, whose Flyers are off to a 1-0 start to the campaign and are now nationally ranked for the first time in program history. Flyer Nation's Jacqulyn Moreno sits down with junior midfielder Hunter Loprino to talk about his playing career and path to the Romeoville campus. And as always, we will preview the upcoming schedule for all programs that are in action next week. But first, it's time to take a look back at the week that was in Flyer athletics, brought to you by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen in Bolingbrook. The 6th-ranked men's volleyball team made it 2 straight wins over top 10 teams as Dan Friend's club outlasted 8th-ranked Grand Canyon in 5 sets on Saturday night inside Neil Carey Arena. Tyler Mitchum registered a team-high 15 kills on the night to propel the Flyers. Flyers are now 6-2 overall, and they continue their 3-match homestand with a pair of nationally ranked matchups against Ball State and Ohio State this coming weekend. The Lewis University basketball teams each played 3 games in 5 days this past weekend inside Neil Carey Arena. The men opened the homestand with an 89-76 setback against Truman State, but the Flyers rebounded in fine fashion on Saturday afternoon with an 83-73 come-from-behind win over Quincy. Hawks led by as many as 11 at the break, but the Flyers shot over 64% from the floor over the game's final 20 minutes to pull out the win. Flyers had 4 players in double figures, led by Otakon Songkaya, who poured in a season-high 20 points. On Monday night, Scott Tro's club made it 2 out of 3 on the weekend. They completed the season sweep of Illinois Springfield with a 71-63 victory over the Prairie Stars. Dre Bell's 16 points paced the Flyers, who had 5 different players reach double figures in scoring. Flyers are now 10-7 overall. They're 8-2 in the GLVC and hold a 2-game lead for first place in the conference's Eastern Division standings. The women's basketball squad dropped their home opener of the homestand to Truman State by a final count of 74-61 on Thursday night. However, Grace Hilbert poured in a career-high 26 points on Saturday to help the Flyers down Quincy 57-55 inside Neil Carey Arena. And on Monday night, Matt Nelson's club made it 2 straight. The Flyers downed Illinois Springfield 72-60 behind a game-high 23 points from Catherine Schmidt. The Lewis women's basketball team is now 7-12 overall. They're 5-6 in Great Lakes Valley Conference play. Men's and women's track teams took part in the Walter Kramer Invite this past Saturday on the campus of Olivet Nazarene in Bourbonnais. Flyer women posted 23 top 10 finishes on the afternoon, while the men scratched the top 10 13 times over the one-day event. Jamie Poppin finished in a first-place tie in the pole vault, clearing the bar at 3.62 meters, while on the men's side, Jacoby Jones captured the 600 meters with a time of 1 minute and 24.12 seconds. Lewis women's tennis squad opened its spring season on Friday night with a 6-1 victory over St. Thomas inside Challenge Fitness in Lockport, while the men's team also picked up a win in their spring opener on Sunday. They topped Hillsdale 5-2 at the 5-Star Tennis Center in Plainfield. Flyer softball dropped its season-opening games on the road at the Minnesota State Dome Tournament in Mankato. Delaney Garden and Evie Calderon each paced the way for the Flyers with 5 hits on the weekend. And finally, the men's lacrosse team went on the road this past Sunday and they knocked off 4th-ranked Seton Hill 14-13. Nolan DeLeap tallied 3 scores for the Red and Black as the Flyers notched their first ever win over a ranked opponent. That is our weekly look back at the week that was in Flyer athletics, brought to you by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen in Bolingbrook, where Flyer students, faculty, and staff receive 10% off their orders with a valid Lewis ID. Visit them at 105 Remington Road in Bolingbrook or online at cheddars.com. When we come back, we'll talk with Lewis University men's lacrosse coach Joe Perruzzi, whose club is fresh off that season-opening win over 4th-ranked Seton Hill. That all comes your way next as Flyer Nation rolls on right after this timeout.
Windy City Limousine is a proud sponsor of Lewis University Athletics. We have every type of vehicle from sedans and hybrids to 55-passenger motor coaches, including SUVs, limousines, executive vans, luxury minibuses, and party buses. You cannot beat Windy City's competitive rates and first-class service. Find out why customers throughout the Chicagoland area and around the country are choosing Windy City Limousine for their car and bus services. Call 847-916-9300 or visit windycitylimos.com today.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The Lewis University men's lacrosse team opened their season with a 14-13 win over fourth-ranked Seton Hill this past Sunday. The win was the young program's first ever victory over a nationally ranked opponent, and as a result, the Flyers have entered the national rankings for the first time in school history. Lewis will kick off the home portion of their schedule this Saturday against Wheeling University at Lewis Stadium. As we welcome in Flyer head coach Joe Perruzzi, now in his third season here in Romeoville. And Coach, welcome to the show. A win over fourth-ranked Seton Hill on the road this past Sunday to kick off the season. That's a pretty good start to the 22 campaign.
Yeah, you can't ask for much better than that. So, had a good game plan going in. I think our assistant coaches did a really great job getting our players prepared. The moment wasn't too big for us. We had kind of prepared our guys, and when we recruited them to start the program, it was all about, playing on the national scale, playing against the best teams in the country, trying to be nationally ranked, trying to beat nationally ranked teams, and put ourselves in position to win the GLVC. So, we've only played 20 games in our 3 years with, only 7 in the COVID year and a conference-only 12-game schedule last year. We were the first team left out of the playoffs. So, We've been knocking on the door a little bit, and it was really great to see those guys, all their hard work kind of come to fruition and put it all together against a really, really good opponent in Seton Hill.
Bring up the fact that this obviously is a young program, one you started from scratch. You talk about the vision when you came in here a few years ago to start this program. That vision's always something that you sell recruits. It gets a little bit easier, though, when you have success like you did last weekend.
For sure. I think winning games it always helps recruiting, for sure. But the truth is there's so many great head coaches here at Lewis University. And when I took the job here, I really talked to other coaches and I watched other programs to kind of see how they did it here and how they had success here, because that was something that was very attractive to me in the interview process, that everyone here was having success athletically. Everyone here, their teams were having success in the classroom. So that was really attractive to me when I took the position. But, I think for us, just finding the right guys, it's hard to do that when you don't have anything established. So we did have some growing pains in year 1 and 2, but, we really stayed committed to our vision. And that was just a lot really predicated around hard work. It's no secret that that's what you need if you want to get where you want to go. On the field, but also in the classroom, in life, So we kind of use that as really the point of how it all started, of just working hard and doing a little bit more than everybody else. We always talk about, hey, everybody goes to practice for 2 hours a day. You're not special. You're doing what the best team in the country is doing. You're doing what the worst team in the country is doing, 2 hours a day. That's kind of the bare minimum. So when you think about it like that, that kind of motivates guys to get that extra lift in, to go play a little bit more wall ball, to stay later or come earlier and get some extra shots up. So we've really kind of prided ourselves on just doing a little bit more. And some players don't want to do that. And those guys probably aren't the best fit for us and for our program. But the 41 guys we got in our program right now, those guys do want to do that, and they're committed to that. And I think that's been a huge part of us really taking this next step and being able to show what we can do in the national spotlight is like we've worked for it, So I've told my guys from day one, we deserve to be here, so we're going to take it and run with it and have some fun with it and see how far we can take it.
You played collegiately at Belmont Abbey, a nice decorated collegiate career. You spent time as an assistant at both Kenyon, Ohio Wesleyan at the Division III level, and then went back to your alma mater at Belmont Abbey before taking the head job here at Lewis. As you built up that tenure and that resume as an assistant coach at the collegiate level, what was it about Lewis that became attractive? And I say that because most assistant coaches at some point want to ascend to a head coaching position, but smart assistant coaches know that you don't want to pick the wrong head coaching position or institution, because if you're not successful, it might be your last one. So what was it about Lewis that was attractive 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You know, you want to be, everyone wants to be a head coach, but you got to get the right spot, you know. And I think on paper, looking at me, I had come from a really successful Division II university. I have Midwest roots, being, you know, from Columbus, Ohio, and having coached a little bit in Ohio, not too far from the Illinois area, but also coming from a really successful Catholic school that had great athletics there down at Belmont Abbey as well. So I think on paper it was a really good fit, and I'm grateful for you know, Dr. Planick for giving me the opportunity to come here and interview and just show what I could do. And honestly, I didn't know much about Lewis University. I did some research, and I liked that. I liked the major offerings. You know, I thought we could appeal to a lot of different kids. I liked the fact that it was kind of a bigger, small school. You know, I was coming from a school that had like 1,000 kids or 1,500 kids. So kind of having a bigger school here, that was unique. And I like that, especially looking at Division II across the boards. You know, we're not that massive school, but we're not that tiny school either. So I think the kids get a really good experience. And they might feel like they're on a bigger campus or a bigger school, and then they get in their classroom and there's 30 people in the classroom. So I really liked that part about it. But again, I mean, I took a step back and just looked at the athletics. I think Dr. Planick had told me in my interview, you know, 19 of our 20 sports teams at the time had been to the national tournament in the past 5 years. You know, that was like 2018 when I was here interviewing, and that blew me away. The fact that you could have that level of success across the board in your department, that was like unheard of to me. So that was, I really gravitated to that and really wanted to be a part of, you know, creating my own thing here with the lacrosse program, but also looking at how these really successful coaches here with Dan Friend in the volleyball program and Coach Trost, you know, with the basketball program, and what Dana and Coach Kearney have done with the, you know, track and cross country program, and you could just go on and on. I mean, some of the programs here are just so good year in and year out that I looked around and I was like, I've been really successful as an assistant. Everybody here is being really successful with their athletic program. Why not us? You know, why not me? Why couldn't we make this work? So that was the easy decision, was choosing to come here. You know, the hard part was building the thing and trying to sell kids on a program that they couldn't come and watch practice. They couldn't come do an overnight with a current player. They just hung out with me for 4 or 6 hours on their visit. And, you know, truth be told, you're going to see me 2 hours a day at practice, and I want to be a resource for you. But the truth is, you want to interact with other guys on the team. You want to interact with other people on campus. You want to see a dorm room. And it was tough for us to like articulate that to some of our, you know, initial recruits. But I give our kids a lot of credit and just their level of belief in myself and our staff in what we were selling. That like you know, I've had success everywhere I've been. I put a staff around me that has had success everywhere they've been, and the university's been incredibly successful for athletics. So I think a lot of kids kind of saw what I saw when I came on my interview, and what they came on their visit was like, this place has it all. You know, and just the demographic of how large of a market Chicago is, and how there's just no Division II universities here, let alone no Division II lacrosse in the Chicago area. There's also no Division I lacrosse in the Chicago area. You know, we're kind of sandwiched between Notre Dame and Marquette. So for us, I felt like the market was really interesting, that, you know, I felt like we could be kind of the biggest show in town pretty quickly, with just the fact that there was a lot of D3s out here, but really no D2 or Division I. So that was really attractive for me, and I think for some of our players, to be in such a large market that was so untapped by our sport and our division.
Obviously, all that hard work over the last few years has paid off. First win against a ranked opponent this past Sunday, now nationally ranked for the first time. The last 72 hours, I'm sure, have been a bit of a whirlwind for both you and your program. But as you move forward here with the players that you have, and obviously you have to go right back at it on Saturday for your home opener against Wheeling University, there is that euphoria after a big win like that, but it is also, from a coaching standpoint, the first match of the year. And you have a number of others. How do you keep them a little bit grounded, knowing our end goal is what's going to be at the end of the season, not right now?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they don't hand out any championship trophies in February, so we let our guys enjoy it. We let our guys be excited about it. But then we had a pretty down-to-earth film session, which is what we like to do in our program, where we be very transparent and very honest with our players about what we can do better. And we kind of have a divine discontent where we're pleased with how we performed. We're happy with the result and how it turned out. But we also have the self-awareness to know that we got to keep getting better. And that's really been our mantra from day one when the season started, is just get better, be better today than you were yesterday. And I think that our guys have really approached with a great mindset. So some of our returners have improved tremendously. Some of our young bucks, our freshmen, have picked up our system and our scheme. And with great leadership in our program, they've been able to contribute for us immediately. So I think for us, we aren't afraid to give our players the truth. And the truth is that in February, anything can happen. We've all been practicing 20 times. So you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You got to just roll with it. And I think for us, so many people have doubted us in my time here. And part of it is rightfully so, right? We're so young. Some people just didn't take us seriously. But I think in our locker room, we knew what we had. We knew how close we were. And having coached at a really high Division II level in the past, I kind of compared that team to this team, and I was like, man, I really think we're a lot closer than people think. So there's still a constant validation process in our program of they only have us at 18th in the country, and just Friday we were projected 5th in the conference. So, You go to sleep as the 5th best team in the conference and you wake up nationally ranked at 18th in the country. So we're still trying to validate ourselves to a lot of people. There's still people that probably aren't putting us in the top 20. You beat Seton Hill and somehow they're still ranked 13th in the country in front of you. So that just shows me that we still got a lot of work to do to prove to people that we're for real. This wasn't a fluke. This wasn't a one-time thing. And the only way you do that is by going to work every week, preparing the same way, and treating all the teams that we have on our schedule that any given day, they could beat us. And we got to prepare that way with our backs against the wall, because that's kind of how we've gotten to this point. So I think we're going to do a really good job with our guys, just staying humble, staying hungry, getting back to work. We had a really good practice yesterday, and you're seeing some of those game plan adjustments we make for Seton Hill of how we could beat them now slowly being ingrained in our program is hey, these are just mainstays in what we do offensively and what we do defensively, because this is good lacrosse. So I give our guys a ton of credit for how they followed our game plan, the trust they had in their coaches, and really the trust we had in them that they could do it. So that's really just in one successful weekend that now you're starting to see players in our program take some of those things and make it who they are and make it what we do every day, which is really exciting because I feel like we're taking that next step forward.
You talk about the fact that you played the number 4 team in the nation on the road to open up the campaign, really following a week, maybe 10 days, where the weather has been very difficult here in Chicago, both temperature-wise and the amount of snowfall we got, which pushed you guys inside. So a win after that, in that climate, in that environment, obviously makes it a little bit more outstanding. But the fact of the matter is, you going on the road to open the season against the number 4 team in the country isn't a fluke from the standpoint of you really want to build that non-conference schedule against some of the nation's best in non-conference play, probably knowing full well that the GLVC currently has 4 in the top 20 as well. So it's not going to get any easier, but in an effort to really prepare your team, that's a huge part of your plan, isn't it?
100%. I mean, we've always had the no excuses mindset. I mean, last year with COVID and some of the stuff we dealt with and getting a phone call from a kid Thursday night when you're getting ready to go on the bus Friday and say, hey, coach, I'm out. I tested positive. We really just learned very quickly that if you make excuses, you'll justify everything that goes wrong on the field, in your personal life, for your grades. So just having hey, whatever they throw at us, we can handle it mindset, that started last year with kind of what we were dealing with. And we kind of carried that into this year. We've had some really big injuries in the preseason. We had to start a couple freshmen in that game. We had to tap a guy at breakfast and say, hey man, this kid's not going to be good to go. You're going to get the start today. He didn't get a ton of first team reps throughout the week. So I give those guys credit for just being ready to go and being ready to step in their role. But we've kind of taught our kids that you can't make excuses. Something will go wrong. And that's kind of how life works, you know, and if you're prepared for that, ultimately a lot of how you respond will ultimately dictate the outcome of the situation. So we're trying to teach our kids that, you know, to be resilient. And I think if you watch the game, we had a pretty big lead. They stormed back. We were down, and our guys never blinked. And they were resilient. So I think that's a testament to who they are and what we're trying to build with them. But I think as coaches, we did a good job of just trying to plan our week out and knowing, okay, if we can be outside Monday and Tuesday, let's try to get everything we can possibly get in. We gave them Wednesday off and did a little bit of optional film. And then we came back and just did the best we could inside with the smaller space and not the best footing. And you really get nervous with some injuries in there when guys are sprinting and going full go. So we walked through some things, you know, we did some unsettled things, and at the end of the day, we just didn't make any excuses, you know, and I think that what we kind of lacked in like preparation and some of the things we probably wish we would have gotten to rep a little bit more out on a turf and on a full field, we made up for it in our effort, we made up for it in our energy, and not just the guys, you know, on the field, the guys on the sideline. Our sideline was incredible. You know, getting our starters jacked up, giving those guys support, giving those guys confidence. And, you know, even when they took the lead, you could hear it on our sideline, like, we got this. Hey, next play, let's go. And that's what we try to teach our kids. So it was really great to see some of the life lessons we're trying to teach our guys about not making excuses, about handling adversity, you know, not only apply that to the week of preparation, but apply that in the moment. You know, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they're like, hey, we're good, we got this. So I think that's a testament to our players, their character, their integrity, and just understanding what we expect from them as coaches.
Let's talk a little bit about your ball club's character. Integrity would fall into it as well, I think, because when you look at the dynamic of starting a new program, there are individuals who look and say, it's a brand new program. I can go in there, I can play right away. I can get a ton of minutes. I can start maybe for 4 years. But as you build every year and bring in new blood, there's going to be guys who are supplanting those starters from the previous year. But you're not losing guys. They're staying within the team dynamic. So how have you really balanced that aspect, just from a leadership standpoint and from a character standpoint for the drive within your club?
Yeah, I think it does start with our leadership. You know, Peter Carlson's been a 3-year captain for us. He was a captain as a freshman with a team full of freshmen that were his peers. So that's a very difficult situation to be in. He was a captain for us last year. He's a captain for us again. And then over those years, we've added some transfers that have been great leaders. You know, Hunter Loprino is a Belmont Abbey transfer who's stepped into a captain role for us this year. Baden Boyanko is a Genesee Community College transfer who was an All-American there last year. He stepped into a leadership captain role for us. And then Sam Kern has been a pivotal part, being a year one guy with us now in year 3 as a junior, has grown into a tremendous leadership role. So I think it starts with those guys. But we have guys that aren't captains that are tremendous leaders, that do what they're supposed to do all the time and echo the sentiment of the captains, which I think is pivotal for us. So it all starts at the top, and we're really trying to develop our leaders. We did some workshops this fall. We read a couple books with those guys and tried to relate it to their personal lives and tried to relate it to our team. So there's a level of buy-in, and I think when we recruited all the young men, we told them first thing is we're not promising you any playing time. You're going to have to come earn it, and when you do earn it, you're going to have to come back the next year and earn it again, because we're going to constantly be elevating our recruiting platforms of who we want and how we're going to do this. And we know you're good, and as you do well here, more people are going to see that and want to be a part of that. So it's been really good to see some of the competitions we've had, you know, and some juniors have lost their spots. You know, some sophomores have lost their spots. And I give those guys a lot of credit because, A, they've been phenomenal teammates, cheering on the guys who have beaten them out. but B, they're coming into my office and they're saying, I respect your decision to play him over me. What can I do to change your mind? What can I do in practice? What can I do off the field? How can I improve my diet? How can I improve my strength regimen? What can I do to make an impact for this team? And we've also had players where we're like, hey, you're not making a huge impact on the offensive end. What would you think about playing defense? What would you think about stepping into a different role? For us, every single time, unanimously, yes, sir, coach, I'll do it. Whatever the team needs. We just want to win. I just want to play. So again, just that selfless mindset that a lot of these guys have. You know, you look at our box score, it's not one guy going to the goal, taking 15 shots, scoring 9 points. You know, every single attackman scored. Every single player on our first and second midline scored. So it's a team effort. We really embody that. If you're going to shut him down, he's going to have a day. You know, if you're going to put your matchup on him, well, this guy's got the matchup. We're going to let him go to work. So we really have tried to build this thing to be versatile, to be multiple, so that we're not, you know, putting all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak, with one or two players. We really have a good lineup, and when those guys aren't fresh and the next guy comes in, he's pretty darn good too. So just the way we've built this with depth, I think, is what's going to make this sustainable for our program.
You guys have already battled, as you mentioned, some injuries in the early season here. As you move forward, kind of look from 30,000-foot view or so, handicap the GLVC a little bit. Obviously, 4 teams in the top 20, and what the opportunities are for postseason in Division II lacrosse.
Yeah, it's an incredible conference, and it's only been around a few years, you know, and that's a testament to what, you know, Greg Stocks has done over at UIndy and what Coach Lang has done over at Lindenwood and Coach Kelly at Rockhurst. And the cool thing about a lot of these coaches is that they've built it from the ground up many years ago, just like I'm trying to do. And some other coaches have been fortunate enough. Coach Stark at Maryville kind of inherited the team in year 4 and really took them to new heights last year. So, you know, you touched on it a little bit earlier. Like, we play Seton Hill, we play Mercyhurst, like we play some of these teams in February because we know we're either going to win or we're going to learn, and that's going to prepare us to make that run and do what we need to do within our conference in March and April. So with there not being any automatic qualifiers in Division II lacrosse, you have to put together a great resume to get into the tournament. In my career, I've won my conference and been left out of the tournament, so I know what that feels like. And, you know, I want to do everything I can as the head coach of this program to try to put my players in a position so that they can compete in the postseason. So for us, we're trying to take it 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time. Our focus right now is Wheeling University and you know, starting our home opener off the right way. And we'll shift our gears to Mercyhurst after that one. But 1 week at a time, you know. So I think for us, it's a really competitive conference. We all kind of understand, you know, last year we got 2 games, so you got to make adjustments and go back with the home and home schedule we had. You don't have that in a typical year. You won't have that this year. So you get 1 shot at Lindenwood. You know, you get 1 shot at Indy. You get 1 shot at Rockhurst. So in order for us to really be prepared for that, we felt like we had to challenge ourselves with an out-of-conference schedule that was similar to what we were going to see within the conference play.
Well, beating the number 4 ranked team on the road to start the campaign is a pretty good first step toward an at-large bid. Thanks so much for stopping by, Coach. That's Lewis University head men's lacrosse coach Joe Perruzzi. When we come back, junior midfielder Hunter Loprino visits with Flyer Nation's Jacqulyn Moreno as Flyer Nation continues right after this timeout.
Fat Ricky's is the perfect family meal for game days, weekdays, even holidays. This year, ditch the time spent in the kitchen and spend it with your family around a delicious homemade catered meal from Fat Ricky's. Fat Ricky's caters delicious meals for groups big and small, including trays of their mouth-watering pastas like their famous Papa Rich's casserole, homemade Italian beef, country fried chicken, plus all the sides and fixins. And come see their new banquet room in Romeoville. With convenient locations in Plainfield, Romeoville, and Tinley Park, Fat Ricky's has the Southwest suburbs covered for your best holiday and everyday eats. See for yourself why Fat Ricky's is voted Chicago's best deep dish pizza. For all of your family's holiday catering needs, you better make it Fat Fat Ricky's. Like Fat Ricky's on Facebook or Instagram for weekly deals and specials. And visit Fat Ricky's new website at fatricky's.com for easy online takeout and delivery, ordering from all 3 convenient locations in Plainfield, Tinley Park, and their new state-of-the-art Romeoville facility located off Route 53 on Independence Boulevard in Romeoville.
Flyer fans, the Donut Shop in Lockport is the perfect spot to indulge in the area's finest sweet treats. Located at 1143 East 9th Street in Lockport, as well as their new location at 23836 West 135th Street in Plainfield. The Donut Shop offers 28 varieties of freshly made donuts, as well as a full assortment of specialty donuts. Lewis students and staff will receive 10% off any order with valid ID at either Lockport or Plainfield locations. The Donut Shop, a proud sponsor of Flyer Athletics.
Hi, I'm Jacqulyn Moreno, and I'm here with Hunter Loprino from the men's lacrosse team. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
So what's something that inspired your athletic journey here?
My athletic journey to Lewis itself was kind of inspired just by, I was actually a transfer from Belmont Ivy College in Charlotte, North Carolina, my initial freshman year. Then I tore my ACL while I was there, so when COVID happened and everything, I had to kind of find a school that was more suitable for me academically, financially, and everything. And when I entered the transfer portal, I came on a visit here, and with Coach Perruzzi and just the school itself and all the majors that I had to offer, it felt like the right place for me.
What was was your major one of the key points in you coming here, or was it more of the program?
Yeah, so initially I was a pre-med major as a freshman, and then I kind of didn't have all the classes that I needed to take at my old school, so when I came to Lewis, all the majors that they had to offer kind of felt better for me, like it was a better option for me, and then I actually decided to switch to exercise science because they had that program as well, focused more towards pursuing a goal and getting a physical therapy degree after school. So,
yeah. So like you said, you're an exercise science major, right? Mm-hmm. Are you minoring in anything?
I'll have a minor in biology.
Okay. How do you like those two combined together? Like, how would you?
It kind of worked out perfectly, being a biology major initially, because it kind of set me up to get into everything for exercise science. So I have a pretty good background knowledge going into that major.
Yeah, for sure. And then kind of going more onto the lacrosse side, what's something that you typically do on your regular day basis here at Lewis?
So on a regular day basis, like today, for example, we wake up around 6:30, get a little bit of breakfast, and then come here around 7:30. We have lift from 7:30 to 8:30. Then I take a quick shower, and we're going straight to class till 1:32, and then after that we got some film, and then we go straight into practice from 4 to 6.
How was your recruiting process, and from the lacrosse perspective?
Yeah, so my recruiting process coming out of high school I was a little bit of a late bloomer in the sense of my playing ability and everything. So, and I also went around about the recruiting process for lacrosse itself the wrong way initially, where it's you have to reach out a lot more to all the coaches and show interest in their school, so then they have an idea of who you are, and then they'll kind of look at you and decide what they want.
Yeah, and then just some overall personal goals for this season and even for your team.
Yeah, so personal goal, a lot of them are kind of correlated within our team itself. So personal goals would just be to make the GLVC conference tournament and then go win that. That's our goal. And then our goal is also to make an NCAA tournament appearance. And we started off right this weekend with a nice big win against the 4th-ranked team in the nation against Seton Hill.
Great, that sounds awesome. And then just with your coach being its second year and you guys being a fairly new program here at Lewis, what's kind of your overall take on the whole environment, and then I guess the athletics itself?
I think our coach does a great job of setting up culture. That's one thing he does when he recruits you here, is he tells you about the culture, and our culture and our mindset as a team is that we're going to grind harder than anyone in the nation. That's our goal. Like I said, from the busy schedule that we have, we're doing that day in and day out because we want to be the best. So it sets up a good team environment, and all our team is very, very motivational to one another and pursuing personal goals and team goals, and we push each other to be the best every single day.
And so I hear that you guys are having your first home game this coming weekend. How is that, playing out? How has the hype been for you guys to have your first game coming up?
So our first home game coming up, we're pretty excited for that. It's nice to get back to Lewis every once in a while with our schedule and the competition that we look to play every single year. We're traveling out east a lot, and we have some long trips everywhere else. So the home games are pretty nice. It's a good environment. Fans can expect pretty cold weather this time of year, but they can expect a very high pace, high energy, intense game, and you'll see it's a very fun game to watch. It's back and forth the whole time. There's never a dull moment, so there's always something going on.
And then in your opinion, what would be, considered a successful season for you guys?
A successful season for us would be to go win the conference. That's our goal. That's been our goal since day one as a program forming, and now that we got the ball rolling a little bit more, starting to get some of those smaller goals like getting ranked and everything. It's an attainable goal, and we just got to stick together and grind through the season and believe in one another.
For sure. I appreciate you coming in this evening, and we appreciate you guys talking with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Flyer fans, whether you're looking for a local getaway of welcoming friends and family to town for a short or extended stay, make sure to check out the Home to Suites by Hilton in Joliet, a proud hotel partner of Flyer Athletics. The Home to Suites by Hilton in Joliet offers gorgeous studio suites, equipped with a kitchen and full-size refrigerator. A daily free breakfast truly sets the Home to Suites by Hilton Joliet apart from the competition. Book your stay today. Give them a call at 815-727-3310 or visit them online at hilton.com.
Flyer fans, the Golden Corral in Bolingbrook offers an endless buffet of delicious comfort food classics. Located at 381 Brookview Lane in Bolingbrook. Stop by and sample their fried chicken, meatloaf, pot roast, and freshly carved sirloin. The Golden Corral offers a complete salad and dessert bar, along with a wide variety of side dishes. Create your own unique and perfect plate. The Golden Corral in Bolingbrook, a proud partner of Lewis University Athletics.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. It's now time to preview the week ahead in Flyer Athletics, brought to you by the Holiday Inn and Suites Bolingbrook. The men's and women's swimming squads are currently in Elkhart, Indiana, competing in the GLVC championships. The championship runs through Sunday at the Elkhart Health and Aquatic Center. Stay up to date on all the latest results of the tournament at lewisflyers.com. The men's and women's basketball teams hit the road this week for a pair of conference tilts out west. On Thursday night, Flyers will be in Kansas City to take on Rockhurst before heading to Liberty, Missouri on Saturday for a GLVC doubleheader at William Jewell. The Flyer women will then return to Neil Carey Arena next Tuesday afternoon. They'll take on Missouri St. Louis. Matt Nelson's club will tip off at 4:30 in the rescheduled conference contest. The 6th-ranked men's volleyball team will host a pair of nationally ranked foes this week as the Flyers open up conference play. 10th-ranked Ball State invades Neil Carey Arena on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Then on Saturday night, 12th-ranked Ohio State comes calling. First serve on Saturday is set for 5 o'clock. It'll be a blackout at the NCA as the first 50 students will receive a black Lewis University men's volleyball t-shirt. The women's bowling team will host its annual Flyer Classic this weekend at the Strike and Spare in Lockport. Bowlers will compete from Thursday through Sunday. Men's and women's tennis will host Quincy this Friday morning beginning at 8:30 a.m. Both matches will be held inside the 5-Star Tennis Center in Plainfield. Men's and women's track teams will be in Allendale, Michigan on Friday to take part in the Grand Valley State University Big Meet. And then on Saturday, the track teams will head to North Central College in Naperville to compete in the one-day Heenan Invite. And finally on Saturday, the 18th-ranked men's lacrosse team will host Wheeling University. In their 2022 home opener, Flyers and the Cardinals will face off at 11 a.m. inside Lewis Stadium. That is our weekly preview of Lewis Flyer Athletics, brought to you by the Holiday Inn and Suites Bolingbrook. Located just minutes from the Romeoville campus at 205 Remington Road in Bolingbrook. Visit them online at holidayinbolingbrook.com. You can stay up to date with all the latest information on Flyer Athletics online at lewisflyers.com, on Twitter at Lewis Flyers, and on Facebook at Lewis Flyers Athletics. That'll do it for us this week here on Flyer Nation. I'd like to thank head men's lacrosse coach Joe Perruzzi, as well as junior midfielder Hunter Loprino, for joining us on this week's show. For Flyer Nation's Jacqulyn Moreno, our executive producer John Kilpatrick, and our entire Flyer Nation crew, this is John Fitzgerald. We'll see you next week, right here on Flyer Nation.